Hey lovelies, very quick video today. I was just speaking to a client of mine, a student, and I'm trying to get it's raining here today, and I'm trying to get my windscreen wipers to stop, but I can't. It's one of those days. I'm rushing around getting food for my dad. I'm going to go to acupuncture, chill out a bit. I started off with a very deep healing session for a client this morning. We were working on strategy, or going to work on strategy, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling, hey, gorgeous one. So when I usually, I'm working with a client and we're working on strategy and we're setting up the whole process for their business and the way it's all going to flow, I get this visceral, energetic feeling in my body when it's like on the money. And I wasn't completely feeling it because that person had 1 foot in and 1 foot out around what they're really meant to be doing. So this person, who's an amazing healer, wasn't really fully owning that due to some of the wounds that she had and some messaging that she'd received along the way. And so she's putting 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So kind of skimming around the border rather than really fully claiming, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is the work that I'm called to do. So we needed to really do work on releasing what that was all about, resentment, relationship stuff, a lot of kind of karmic wounds, and it doesn't have to take a long time to get through, but you do need to identify it. Otherwise, when you go to set up a business, the structure isn't sound. It's not energetically vibing right at the right frequency because you can't build an empire when you're not really truly being honest about who you are and your power. And I need to get on a call with someone, so I'll be quick. So I just wanted to go into why most really talented, beautiful women aren't making enough money. And that is because there's this inner war around their relationship with worth, their relationship with money, how they perceive money. And it's kind of like all jumbled up, and it creates this sort of sense of almost like an energetic chaos, right? Hey, gorgeous ones. And what I'm inviting you to do is really shift your perception and understanding of what money is, number one, right? Money is a vehicle. It doesn't give you any more worth, right? I don't have any more value when I was broke in relationship to having hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it is in my bank account, right? Or when I was undercharging, and now that I'm charging, what I actually feel that my potent work is worth, right? The other thing here is so the money doesn't give you value at all. It's really the way that you value, not yourself. So I think a lot of people keep thinking that the amount of money that they put on an offer on their sacred work is about their personal value, and it's not about your personal value. It has nothing to do with you, because you're priceless. You're an energetic, divine, holy life force. You're priceless. There's not an amount of money that you can actually put on you as an individual, as a woman, right? Because you're sacred. The value is on your work, right? And the outcome and the ROI and the transformation that you bring your students, clients, and whatnot, right? So that could really help you in terms of a shift in perception. And then really looking at money as one of the this has helped me tremendously. Rather than looking at money like some sort of destructive force, which it can be, but really at the end of the day, money is innocent. This destructive force that is usually, that money is usually blamed for, comes from power hungry, greedy type of destruction that causes wars and poverty and scarcity, right, in the world. And it really has nothing to do with money. It has to do with ego and people that really need to have this sense of power in order to feel good and successful and all that kind of stuff. When you're a healer and a mystic and a shaman or a thought leader and a visionary, you're usually doing the work for the greater good of all. And so it's a conscious level of money, right? Yes, it's conscious. You're consciously delivering a service that's going to help humanity, whilst also serving yourself, so that you can keep doing the work that you're doing, so that you can support your family, so that you can grow your legacy, right? And have the sustenance that you need, but also your business needs to be able to do that potent work in the world. So we need to have a radical shift in consciousness around our work, right? around money. It is safe to make money. You are safe to make money. You deserve to have money and abundance for your own self, just for yourself, not just for the work that you want to do in the world. But, when women are impoverished financially, spiritually, physically, and, and I already said financially, I was going to say economically, but also energetically, we can't do the work that we are really called to do. We usually are then dependent and then still commodities or owned by men. So this is why it is so important for us to shift our consciousness and allow ourselves to receive financial compensation for the divine and sacred work that we're here to do in the world. Otherwise, we will be, number one, energetically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually bankrupt, right? The amount of women that I know that are trapped in abusive relationships and marriages because they haven't claimed their value, their worth. They haven't learned how to make and receive money and build businesses. It's incredible. It's astounding, and it is a catastrophe. It really is. There is still a war globally on women, right? And unless we, especially women in the Western world, to help our sisters, we need to come together and we need to really heal this collectively so that we can all rise together. It is really that simple. I have 50 to 60 students in my Diva Mind. I have other students who are in my digital programs. And I'm just sharing that because I would never have been able to do that if I didn't begin to value and own my sacred holy power. I wouldn't have had, and I didn't for years. I was spiritually, emotionally, and physically pretty much destitute. I would do well. I'd raise money. I'd raise capital. I worked with the big boys in advertising in New York. And yet I was quite miserable. I even worked for the Office of Economic Development in Australia. I ended up suing my boss because he was abusive. I won that court case. I don't really share that much. I was actually forbidden to talk about it, but I don't really care anymore. And so those men who ran that office, like the whole entire office, was just it really didn't even need to exist. Hey, God, how beautiful, Melissa, thanks. I was doing deals in biotech with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I was putting together all these, incredible deals, and really the rest of the office was a sham. And it was being protected by the Lord Mayor at that time, and there was taxpayer money going into that it really didn't need to exist. It's a long story, but anyway, that man was being sexually kind of provocative with the boys in the office, and then abusing and yelling and screaming at the women. It's a really interesting story. And then one day I was speaking to a lawyer, just a colleague of mine, and this man came in screaming his head off at me, and the lawyer said to me, "Do you want to sue him?" And I said, "Yes, I will sue him." And I picked up my bags and walked out, and that was an interesting journey of mine. And that was one of the key times when I decided that I was going to be an entrepreneur and not buy into these fears and illusions. Like, my dad really wanted me to work in corporate, and I literally used to sit in a coffee shop before going to work, wanting to vomit. Like, I didn't want to be there, but I didn't know what I was going to do to get myself out of this funk. It was literally horrendous. And I made a decision that I was not going to be bullied by either my father, by my own self, by my own fears, and certainly by these men. And I fought for it, and that Lord Mayor had to come to the hearing. It was a closed office, just with my mother came to support me. That Lord Mayor, the man that was being sued, and the attorney. So anyway, that's a journey, and I just refused to. I wanted to always have my own money, and I also wanted to have a lifestyle that allowed me to be able to do the work that I'm called to do. And we need to learn how to master making money. It is a skill, and there's a lot of healing involved. So anyway, going back to the client that I was working with at the beginning of the day, like we had to clear all this energetic stuff. And then I also sent her to another healer because I don't do a whole heap. I'll read the energy and I know exactly what's going on. And I know where the blocks are, and I don't do a heap of the energy because it's too much for me. So I have all these beautiful people that I refer my clients to. And now in about 3 days time, she will be ready to map the F out of her stuff and have something that resonates deeply with her calling, devoid of all those fears and the trepidation and the doubt and the sort of angst that can come with not fully claiming your power and without fully releasing the karmic bonds, contracts and threads in our lives, right? So then you can step into what I call a clear channel. And when you're a clear channel, you're a lighter being. Things move faster. Receiving divine compensation and money for your work becomes a beautiful, loving, yummy exchange between you and the person that you're working for. It's a sacred rite of passage. You're not trying to get anything from anyone. You're not trying to harm anyone, anything from anyone. And what I always say, if you are, whatever price you're charging, right, as long as the return that they're getting far exceeds the value or the price that they've paid for something, right, then you are complete and ethical and divine alignment with your service, right? With your prices. So let's start to shift our relationship to money. Money is an innocent. The energy that we attach to it, if we're ethical, loving, divine women who are here to help and heal, we should not have shame. And we should not have these horrendous, debilitating sort of bonds and energetic frequency attached to money, right? So I'm inviting you to clear the way. I'm inviting you to clear the way. Because really at the end of the day, what we're doing as healers, mystics, visionary women is we're extending our hand out to help other women rise up, right? And we cannot be impoverished any longer. And I know when we don't have that financial freedom, it is literally like a poison because we're beholden to others. You know, we get pushed around, we get bullied, we get raped, we get attacked. Right? Clear the way, 2018, exactly. So I am doing a training this week. It is called 7-Figure Diva. I put the link here. Lift as we rise. Yeah, it's like, it is safe to be financially empowered. It is safe for you to claim your brilliance. It is safe for you to hold value in yourself. In fact, that is what, you know, that's the bedrock of it all. You know, and it filters into everything. It filters into how I teach my daughter to own her power and own her own sense of power, responsibility and ownership. I will be teaching my daughter, and I teach her also through how I behave with my husband, how I behave around my boundaries, how I behave around my work, how I show up. I hope that I am teaching her to be a strong, aligned woman who allows herself to receive deeply and ethically and in a loving way. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm sending you guys so much love, a million divine blessings. You're sacred. You deserve abundance on every single level. It is time for us all to rise. And that's about it for today. Mwah. Blessings. Bye.